All right, 12 weeks to peak. A few weeks left in the year here. Got about 8 of them, maybe 9. If you haven't joined Wes Schaefer's free group with 12 weeks to peak yet for accountability, free. Okay, no whining. You have no reason not to join. If you're a founder or a salesperson and you want to finish the year strong, then get in there. It's working for me. Now, I wanted to talk about a quote that I saw today. A guy might have been quoting Grant Cardone. I don't know. It was something I saw on Facebook. Saying, master the art of selling before you delegate it. And this was specifically aimed at founders. And I don't know, I had mixed reactions to it. On the one hand, I was like, yeah, I mean, it makes sense, right? We do want to understand something before we delegate it. I mean, there's risks in delegating, right? You don't want to be reliant on somebody else for that skill set. And then if they leave, right, or they try and negotiate sort of badly against you, you're beholden to them, right? You're at their mercy. So there is that. I get that. But let's look at the word master. Like mastering the art of selling. I don't know, dude. Like that takes like at least 4 years, at least, of continuous training and application, like being in a sales role, right? Doing selling and studying selling so that you can get better and being coached. Okay. And most salespeople / founders are not doing those things, right? They might be in a sales position, but are they reading or watching videos, studying it? Probably not, and they're learning like a little bit at a time. That really slows you down. And are they getting coached? I don't know. Most people that I know are struggling and have far less money than their Facebook portrayal makes them out to be. Okay, let's be realistic about that. And and a lot just don't have the mental sense to go, oh yeah, I should hire a coach, right, for whatever area in their lives. They think, oh, I can just read some books or watch some videos and do it myself, because they don't understand the concept of feedback loops. Okay, feedback loops. They are a thing that I use as a major discernment factor for understanding who is an experienced business owner and who is a goof off. Okay, who's a newbie who's just presenting themselves as a big shot. See that? I wrote about it on my blog at salestactics.org. Go there, search for feedback loops, read the post on it, and you'll understand. Okay, maybe. But those feedback loops are the toughest things in organizations that I've seen in over 20 years. And I'm an operations management guy. They're broken, they aren't in place. And if they are not understood by the executives running those things, what hope do you think you have, right? Of getting in there and understanding, look, this is where I'm going with this, the need for a feedback loop on specific topics in your life. Oh, everybody understands kind of the feedback loop of hiring a weight training coach, right? Or a health coach or something like that. Sure. But a sales coach, I don't know. That seems like an unnecessary expense. Oh, gee, man. My response is, yeah, your revenue is only one of the hugest factors in your life, right? Like creating the cash flow that allows you to afford the lifestyle that you want. Yeah. I guess we wouldn't want a feedback loop, but a coach applied to that, right? Nah. Okay. So that word master, should founders master the art of selling before delegating? I don't know. Should they understand it? Should they be competent at it? Probably, right? Because why would we have to use that word master in that situation and not with other skills, right? I don't need to master the art of graphic design to delegate it. I don't need to master the art of Google AdWords, account management, ads management, right, to delegate it. I don't need to master writing and editing in order to be able to delegate it competently. So that's where I really take issue. The second part of this is, okay, so if we take it on faith, and I'd say to become competent would take you at least 2 years with the applied feedback loop coach, etc., right? Of learning, applying, studying, right? So wanting to learn this stuff on your own, practicing it every day, and having a coach for feedback, right? Those are the 3 factors that are required here in order to grow, right? So you need, I'd say, at least 2 years to get competent at it. And then, yeah, definitely delegate it. And what I will say is that just in terms of the SOP or the understanding of what it feels like to make a sale, understanding the pain points, understanding the flow of the conversation, how prospects are going to react, because you're typically only going to have the same few kind of conversations over and over and over again, right? With prospects. People don't seem to understand this. It's not a different sales conversation every time. It's the same of one category of sales conversations that you have with prospects, okay, over and over again. You need to get into the river and kind of experience it. I can't stand on the shoreline and learn about it. I got to get in it, okay? I can listen to a few recorded conversations. That's a very good thing. That gives you a baseline sort of feedback loop, but you're not going to remember it. And I know I personally learned by being embarrassed or realizing, I failed there, right? And there's an emotional, right? All right. And I'm never going to forget that again. I'm going to fix that, and it's going to stay fixed, and it's going to get strong there. But knowing those flows of those conversations and then being able to delegate to somebody else. Now you're the coach being able to apply feedback loop to somebody else. Okay. And I'd say, like I said, it takes about 2 years to get to that point of competency where you're able to do that. Okay. Now, what I have seen out there in the real world, when people have money, and Steve Blank is the first to say this. If you don't know who Steve Blank is, shame on you. Go find out. Look up his Secret History of Silicon Valley. Look up his startup advice. The book right over there, Business Model Generation, is something that I'd grab it, but it'd knock over a bunch of things. Maybe I'll bring it up next time. Would be a great example of business model that he uses, the Business Model Generation book. So Business Model Canvas, you've probably heard of that. That's what's there. The whole thing is get out of the building and talk to people, right? But he would share the experience that I'm going to talk about now about people with funding as founders thinking they're going to go out and hire a AAA star player chief sales officer from corporate America, right? This sounds good, except that guy can't sell, that girl can't sell, okay, in a startup environment where you don't know the sales conversations that I just mentioned, those several categories of conversations that they're going to have over and over again. A chief sales officer from corporate America is going to be good at fitting into a well-structured, well-worn path of this is how we make these sales. We start out with this kind of lead generation, and we send this marketing material, and the folks who have watched or viewed or read this content, we have these kinds of conversations with them. This is how they go, and that's how, and so a chief sales officer, an executive at that level, can apply themselves to that sort of situation. But your startup, you don't have those blazed trails of sales conversations to go from. You don't know what's going to work. You have not had the experience yet. And so what you really need is fortunately, somebody who costs a lot less. Most of those CSOs get fired, by the way, the chief sales officers, because they're just in the wrong seat at the wrong time, at the wrong company, right? And when it's a startup. So that's why you need to go out and find out what are these conversations like first. And you get some scrappy guy who's used to startups. That's it. Like, I'm good at it because I can go out there and I'm not afraid to look foolish, not have all the answers, not really know the product. I don't care. The product knowledge is really not as important to me as understanding the customer's situation, right? If I understand the customer's situation, I can go get technical knowledge from the company. I can have somebody else sit on the call with me, keep their mouth shut until I tell them to talk about the technical things, the features and benefits and stuff like that later, and then stop once they're done that. People can blow sales like that real fast, if you let them talk. So, but understanding what that flow of the conversation is going to look like, and having somebody who's familiar with the startup environment and is okay with kind of making stuff up as they go along. That may sound shocking to you, but that is how it actually happens. That is how it actually works. All right. There is no proven startup process. Okay. All right. Is there a general sales process? Of course. I talk about it in my Sales on Fire program, teach you about that. But what are the exact pain points, the exact signposts, the guidelines that you're going to find having these conversations as you wiggle through them for the first, second, third, fourth, fifth time, and then finally you get into one and you're like, oh, I've had this conversation with 4 other people. Oh, all right, this is one of those things, and now I can write it down and I can share it with somebody else. But again, it takes some experience. So you should master sales before delegating to others. No, you should become competent at sales as a founder before delegating to others. Yes, that I agree with. All right. Have fun with this. I'll see you tomorrow.